fam, and welcome to Baking with Fox Hallow Kitchen. I'm Dave and I've got a question for you.
Riddle me this!
When is a pie actually a cake? Answer, when it's Boston cream pie like we're making today. It got its name from when cakes and pies were cooked in the same pans and the words were used interchangeably. So if you're ready to make some pie that's actually a cake, well, let's have some fun. First we need to make our cream filling. We're going to start by beating 4 egg yolks gently in a bowl, just to get them mashed up here. And then we're going to set this aside while we do the rest of it. Next, in a saucepan, we're going to put 2 cups of milk, ¾ cup of sugar, and 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. Get this all out of here. And we're going to whisk these together over medium heat until it boils. Once our milk mixture is thick and bubbly, we're going to let it simmer here for 2 minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, we're going to remove it from the heat. So now we need to add our egg yolks, but we can't just dump the egg yolks into the boiling hot milk mixture or we'll end up with something a little more like egg drop soup, and we don't want that. We want a nice creamy center. So what I have to do is I have to temper these eggs by adding a little of the milk mixture into the eggs first and beating that into the eggs to raise the temperature of the eggs gradually. And I'm just going to keep doing this a little bit. So now that I've raised the temperature of my eggs a couple times, I'm going to pour them in here and stick them in the batter. And they won't curdle this way. Mix that completely in. We're going to return this to the heat and then let it simmer for another 2 minutes. Once this is simmered for another 2 minutes, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, mix that in pretty good, and remove it from the heat. Finally, we're going to take this cream mixture and pour it into another bowl to cool. And what we'll do is we'll cover this with plastic wrap that's touching the surface so that it doesn't develop a skin on it. To make our vanilla cake, we're going to start with 2½ cups of flour. To that we're going to add 3½ teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And just combine these. And then set it aside. In another bowl, we're going to take a 1.5 sticks of butter at room temperature, a 1.5 cups of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. And we're just going to cream these together with the mixer. Once our sugar and butter are creamed together into something that looks like mashed potatoes, we're going to add 4 eggs, and a tablespoon of vanilla, and mix that in. Next, we're going to add about half of our dry ingredients from earlier. and keep going. Next, we're going to add in 1 1/4 cups of milk and mix that in. And then finally the rest of our dry ingredients. And mix this until it's just combined. You don't want to overdo it, just until it's combined. Now what I've done here is I've lined 2 9-inch cake pans with parchment paper on the bottom. I cut out 2 neat little circles to fit on the bottom because I want these to come out perfectly when they come out of the pan. And I'm going to divide this batter between the 2 pans. Just put it right in the center there. Okay, so now it's time to put our cakes in the oven. We're going to bake these at 350 degrees for 22 to 25 minutes. And then we'll see how we did. Alright, our timer just went off, so let's take a look at these cakes. Yeah, it's perfect. Just what we want to see. Nice golden brown on top. Now we need to let these cool completely before we put the filling in them. So I'm going to set these out on wire racks for a little while on the counter. Once these have cooled completely, I'm going to very carefully shave the top off of one of these with a long serrated knife to make it flatter than it was. Then I'm going to gently place the one that I cut onto a cake board, taking the parchment off the bottom. Just set this on a 10-inch cake circle and leave it there. Next, I'm going to take the custard filling that I made, which is now set, and place it in the center here and spread it out. Once I've got this spread out almost to the edges, I'm going to put the other cake on top. Just carefully center this on top of the other and push it down a little bit. And that's it. We're going to make a chocolate ganache for the top. To do that, we need 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips and 2 tablespoons of corn syrup. Just put those in a bowl together. Okay, and then we're going to hold on to this for a few minutes. Next, in a small saucepan, I'm going to heat half a cup of heavy whipping cream over medium heat until it just starts to boil. As soon as this boils, I'm going to remove it from the heat. I'm going to pour the hot cream over my chocolate chips and let that sit there for a couple of minutes. Once this is sat for a couple minutes, we're going to whisk it together. into a chocolate sauce. And finally, we're going to pour the chocolate sauce over the top of the cake. It's okay if some of it goes over the sides. And there we have it. Wrapping up today, I want to thank you all for tuning in and encourage you to go see Todd in And So They Had None, a local theater production that includes Boston cream pie. So lastly, I want to leave you with these words from Charlie Chaplin. A day without laughter is a day wasted. Thanks again, and we'll see you all soon. If you like this video or any of our other videos, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned for future shows.